Hello everybody, welcome to SourceFed. My name's Joe Beretta, and this is
Today in History.
September 2nd in history. The first ATM opens for business in 1969. Author of Lord of the Rings, J.R.R. Tolkien, says you shall not pass away, but then up and dies anyways in 1973. And Ho Chi Minh declares Vietnam's independence hours after the Japanese surrender in World War II in 1945. But in 1885 in Rock Springs, Wyoming, in an event that would serve as a specimen for the racial tension of the time, 150 coal miners riot, killing 28 people in the Rock Springs Massacre. Allow me to paint the scene. Chinese immigration to the United States had amassed nearly 100,000 settlers across the country. The anti-Chinese sentiment was becoming widespread, as is known to happen in societies when a new culture is introduced. I say, people suck sometimes. Case in point, any movie where they say, "We don't take kindly to your like in these parts." Or E.T. Now, while the Chinese mostly worked on the railroad, after a labor dispute with the Union Pacific Coal Department in Sweetwater County, the immigrant workers were hired at lower rates in the coal mines, angering many of the white workers who felt that they were being undercut by the cheap source of alternative labor. And while the white workers, who were made up of mostly Cornish, Irish, Swedish, and Welsh immigrants, worked alongside their Chinese counterparts, no precautions were put in place to prevent racial riots, as up until this point, there had been no indicators that this would be a thing to worry about. Looking back, maybe the introduction of the Chinese Exclusion Act in 1883, prohibiting any new Chinese workers from coming to town, could have been a heads up that the community wasn't too in favor of playing nice, but hey, hindsight is 2020. In August, a group called the Knights of Labor had taken to posting notices demanding the expulsion of Chinese workers. Again, another decent indicator that there could be violence. But hey, who am I to judge? The future, that's who. And then on the morning of September 2nd, 150 men armed with Winchester rifles made their way to Chinatown in Rock Springs in a military-like fashion, surrounding the inhabitants and effectively starting their massacre, resulting in 28 confirmed deaths. But it's said that 40 to 50 fatalities might be more accurate, as some bodies were never accounted for. And the burning down of homes amounted to $150,000 in property damage, which by today's term would equate to a whopping $3.83 million. AKA numbers I don't understand because it's so big. No effective legal action was taken against those who participated other than the miners getting fired for their role in the massacre. A week later, federal troops escorted the fled Chinese miners back to Rock Springs, but the damage was done, spawning a wave of anti-Chinese violence across the nation. And that's what happened today in history. Happy birthday.